The events of this video takes place in the Legends novel Shadows of the Empire by Steve Perry, which is set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and this passage details a pretty remarkable moment where Darth Vader briefly begins healing his badly damaged body. I was reading it and thought it was a super interesting bit of information that was really cool to me, so I wanted to make this video detailing it. We'll be reading excerpts from Chapter 5, where we see Darth Vader sitting inside of his hyperbolic chamber. The novel reads this: The interior lighting was turned off, and he, Vader, was free of the armor that he had to wear to sustain himself in public. The Force was powerful. Vader thought the dark side even more so, but he had never been able to use it to heal his badly burned body to the extent that he wished. That he was alive at all was something of a miracle, but he had somehow failed to master the energies needed for complete regeneration. He believed that it was possible, that with sufficient meditation and training, he would someday be able to rebuild himself into the man he had once been. Physically, at least. He would never go back to what he had been mentally: weak, foolish, idealistic. Anakin had been much like Luke Skywalker was now, mere potential. And just a quick reminder that this novel does take place after The Empire Strikes Back. So at this point in time, Vader does know that Luke is the son of Anakin Skywalker, and has already revealed this fact to Luke himself. The book continues. Yes, the Force was strong in Luke, perhaps even stronger than it had been in Anakin, but the boy needed to embrace the dark side, to learn where the real power was, to achieve his true promise. If he did not, the Emperor would destroy Luke. Vader did not want that. When they fought, he had also tried to strike the boy down, but that had been merely a test. Had he been able to kill Luke easily, Luke would not have been worth the effort to recruit. But although he had certainly attempted to defeat Luke, the boy had held his own. Despite Vader's superior skill, despite his experience, Luke had survived with no more damaged than an easily repaired amputated hand. The meeting had made Vader feel, not a normal occurrence lately. There had been the thrill at meeting a worthy opponent and pride that the one so strongly opposing him was his own son. Vader smiled into the darkness surrounding him. Obi-Wan had not told Luke that Anakin Skywalker had become Darth Vader. Luke's anger at the man who had slain his teacher had been potent, had allowed the dark side to claim him. If Vader hadn't broken that anger with fear and confusion by telling the boy that he was his father, Luke could have defeated him. A Jedi does not fight in anger. He holds his emotions in check and allows the Force to move through him. But the dark side needed to be fed with strong emotion, and when it was, it repaid that sustenance tenfold. Luke had felt the power of the dark side. It was up to Vader to find him and allow him to feel it again. The dark side was addictive, more potent than any drug. When Luke accepted it, he would be more powerful than Vader, more powerful than the Emperor. Together, they could rule the galaxy. Enough. It was time for another test. Vader waved his hand over the motion-sensitive controls in his chamber. The spherical chamber opened and the lid lifted with a hydraulic hiss, an escape of pressurized air. He sat exposed to the surrounding room, unprotected by the super-medicated and oxygenated field inside the chamber. He concentrated on the injustice of his condition, on his hatred of Obi-Wan, who had made him so. With anger and hatred, the dark side of the Force permeated Vader. For a moment, his ruined tissues altered, his scarred lungs and dead alveoli and constricted passages smoothed out and became whole. For a moment, he could breathe as normal beings breathed. His sense of relief, his triumph, his joy at being able to do so, drove the dark side from him as surely as a light chases away shadow. The dark side eagerly consumed anger, but it was poisoned by happiness. It left him, and when it did, he could breathe no longer. Vader waved his hand, and the half-dome lowered and sealed him into the chamber once again. He had achieved it briefly, as he had done several times before. The trick was to maintain it. He must not allow himself to feel relief, but must somehow cling to his rage even as he healed. It was difficult. He had not purged all of Anakin Skywalker, that blemished and frail man from whom he had been born. Until he did, he could never give himself over totally to the dark side. It was his greatest weakness, his most terrible flaw, a single spot of light amid the dark that he had been unable to eradicate over all the years, no matter how hard he tried. Vader sighed. He would have to try harder. He could not afford any weaknesses, given his enemies, and more especially, given his friends. But that is the end of the passage from this chapter detailing Vader's struggle at trying to heal himself, and I love the irony of Vader being able to use the dark side to heal himself, only to become so overjoyed at the fact that he is healing that it drives the dark side away from him and he's no longer able to sustain himself. Also, the fact that after over 2 decades of being Vader, that he himself knows that there is still a bit of Anakin that he hasn't been able to purge from inside. I hope you all enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. May the Force be with you.